Hey, what's up guys, it's Warkoopa, and in today's video, I'm going to go over my Altar of Darkness footage and reports. I don't have all the footage of me physically fighting for all the reports because it was hard to remember when to record and when to stop recording. But I do have most of the fighting, and I still have all the reports and everything I need to prove how it went, and I'll have my fighting at 2x speed. But anyways, everyone says that Scipio with Liu Che is the best infantry pair for the open field, but now, I don't know. Gorgo with Liu Che did better for me. I'm not saying y'all are wrong, I'm just saying look at how I fought and then look at the reports. It's totally up for debate, and I'll try to yap through the fighting so it's not awkward, so let's get into it. Initially, I started the altar with Gorgo and Liu Che. I was looking to get KP because the objective for the tide at the time was for each 1 million kill points you receive, you will get a permanent 0.1 attack for the rest of your KVK. Which is so little, and for attack too, I get that, but throughout this KVK, the attack will add up, and so yeah, I was wanting to play aggressively, but I still wanted to play it smart, because if you get wrecked, well then that's less KP, obviously. So I'm going to skip ahead on the footage, and you can take a look at my army's health. We were able to push them back, and my army never died. I should have let it sad face a long time ago, I don't know why I didn't. At some point, it does die, and the report is this. It's 42,000 to 80,000 and 1.4 million KP for me and 800,000 for them. Don't worry, it does get a lot better than this. Well, who knows? Maybe the thumbnail is all clickbait. Next up, we have Guan and Scipio, and this isn't the topic of the video, but it's part of what happened in the altar, so I'm going to leave it in. And everything was going great from what I see in the footage, but then here is where I start to lose troops, and I can only assume it's AoE because no one was really targeting me all that much. And that's mostly due to Guan-Yu being super squishy, and Scipio only offers 20% health, and that's just not enough anymore, and if it is enough, it's dying out, and I'm talking about Guan-Yu. It ended up going consistently the same throughout the entire time. I was dying to AoE, and at the end, I did get targeted, and I just accepted it, and the report was this. 42,000 to 68,000, and it was 1.2 million points for me, and 850,000 for them, so it wasn't bad on my end. Then we go back to Gorgo with Liu Che, and I'm going to try to yap longer than normal because I want y'all to be able to see how I fight in this one in comparison to Scipio with Liu Che, because maybe it was just a difference in fighting each time, but this report is where I noticed a big change. I couldn't find a big difference in the way that I was fighting, so maybe there would be a nerd somewhere that sees this and can go test something out, because I'm going to say it right now, the pair that I was talking about being better than Scipio with Liu Che is actually Gorgo with Liu Che. And I get it. Scipio has March speed, he has AoE and health and even a debuff. Everything that you want for the open field essentially, and I thought that he would be a better pair for Liu Che, at least when it comes to the open field, but looking at these reports, they are just so different that I had to show you guys in this format. Oh my gosh, I already ran out of things to talk about, so I'll say the reason I think Gorgo with Liu Che did better is because 1, Liu Che is already very tanky with his 20% defense and his 20% skill damage taken reduction, and then on top of that, Gorgo has a defense tree and she has a skill related to making enemies deal less damage. And when she pops her active skill, she takes 20% less skill damage for 3 seconds, and there's no cooldown to that, and because she has a rage requirement of 900, she definitely shoots her active skill more often. When it comes to the field, I prefer a lower rage requirement than getting rejuvenate. I would use rejuvenate in a rally or garrison situation, but I would rather have Gorgo's rage requirement for the field because if I back off or the enemy backs off, I still need 100 rage less to shoot my skill, but with rejuvenate, I better hope we're both still connected for that to be worth it. Also, Gorgo's active skill makes her deal 10% more normal damage. We already went over that, but when she does do smite damage, she also increases her normal damage by a further 30%. So if timed right, and there's a good chance for this, Gorgo can gain up to 40% extra normal damage, and Liu Che already offers 10% normal damage already. So in total, you can have up to 50% extra normal damage if timed right, and when you mix that with Liu Che's largest AoE in the game, that's probably why it's doing so well. And now take a look at my army's health. I'm skipping ahead so you can see how much has changed before I run it into death, before we see the report. And boom, this is the health in which I ran it into the ground. And before we move on to Scipio, this is me putting gear on him, the same exact gear that I had on Gorgo, and then me switching up the armaments to fit into a skill-based commander. On the next altar, maybe I'll try the arch formation on Scipio since it is the smite damage that's going to hit after Scipio's health debuff. So then the report for Gorgo was 42,000 to 127,000 sev wounds, and that was 2.3 million kill points for me and 850,000 kill points for them. So this went from a ratio of 2 to 3, and now we compare it to the footage and report of Scipio with Liu Che, and you guys tell me if I fought differently or whatever. Now, after this recording of me fighting, I'm just going to show you guys the rest of the reports on how they all went for me, but I think I fought in the same way on each one. Like I said, I just want to show these two examples of how I fought, just in case anyone was curious or suspicious to if maybe I fought wrong with one march over the other, or if y'all just genuinely wanted to see how I fight on mobile. That's okay too, but if y'all want to see how I do the whole fight, or you just want to see the reports, just let me know in the comments, that way I could do it better. I don't understand why Scipio with Liu Che didn't do better. I'm really shocked by this. You would think that with double AoE, Scipio's health debuff, and his own 20% health, and also having the skill tree, which is what everyone says is great for the open field, contrary to the defense tree that Gorgo has. And also you can see that I was shamelessly picking off a lot of these stragglers in the hopes to continue getting that KP to stack more attack for this KVK. So I thought surely this has to do better than Gorgo with Liu Che. The only thing that I can come up with is that smite damage commanders really improve drastically if you just give them that normal damage, but at the same time, how could it not? If your active skill is dependent on normal damage, and normal damage also improves your counter attack and its regular attack, then it's obvious you should probably just focus on that and your tankiness. I get that we all know this, but all that just to say that if you have access to it, I believe that Gorgo with Liu Che is your best infantry open field pair. And after that, you can do your Guan-Scipio or Scipio with Sargon, whatever you choose, but keep your smite damage commander pairs together and your skill damage commanders together. Now I'm done yapping. I can't do this anymore. That was too much talking. I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead. Just remember what my health was at if you care about it, so you can see where it was at before I decided to run the march into the ground. As low as my march got, it took me forever to kill it. I think this was exactly what I had in mind when I was recording this. I don't even remember deadass. I think I was just trying to get the best report possible to compare the two marches together, but dang, that was so hard to talk through. I'm kind of regretting it now. Anyways, the report was 38,000 sev wounds to 102,000, and it was 1.8 million kill points for me and 770,000 for the enemy. As great as the report is, I think Gorgo still did better, and now I'm just going to show you the reports from here because I'm not going to do that again. The next report is the same, Scipio with Liu Che, and it did 38,000 sev wounds to 72,000, and it was 1.3 million kill points for me and 764,000 for the enemy. And then I went ahead and did it again, and this time I got 38,000 sev wounds compared to 99,000, and it was 1.8 million points for me and 770,000 for the enemy. So by no means are these reports bad in any way, just let me show you how Gorgo did. The next report we have is Gorgo with Liu Che, and it's going to be 38,000 sev wounds to 160,000, and that was 2.8 million points for me and 776,000 for the enemy. After that, again we have Gorgo with Liu Che, and it was 40,000 sev wounds to 108,000, being 2.1 million kill points for me and 812,000 points for the enemy. Next we have one of 43,000 to 116,000 sev wounds, and that was 2.1 million points for me and 860,000 points for them. Honestly, once I saw these reports, I just started running this march from then on. This report was okay compared to the others, and it was 45,000 sev wounds to 81,000, and that was 1.6 million kill points for me, and that was 914,000 points for the enemy. I'm not complaining about that one. The next one is the same pair, and this one was a good one. Here we have 55,000 sev wounds compared to their 185,000, and this one was 3.3 million kill points for me and 1.1 kill points for the enemy, so it was a ratio of 3. Okay, the last Gorgo report was 53,000 sev wounds to 174,000, and that was 3.3 million kill points for me and 1 million kill points for the enemy. And then at the end, I ran Guan-Scipio for 53,000 sev wounds to 48,000, but the gear and armaments weren't that good, and the traits, like I didn't really have people fighting with me at that time. It was weird. Now, if anyone was curious, these are the armaments that I had on Scipio when I had him fighting on the field, and these are the armaments that I had on Gorgo when she was fighting on the field, and they both share this gear. So y'all decide and let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's it for the video. Later. Actually, I need 15 more seconds to make a 10-minute video, and I just want to say that my KVK ends in 25 days from today, so if any great players want to join or help out Cooper the Pooper, then message TMBKT or Taser, or even shout out to Darth, he can help you out too. Anyways, now that's really it for the video. Later.